Here's Spock sitting on a hotel couch. See, this would be like the sofa in the lobby, and it's just for a bunch of people to sit all the way around. And there's the bottom, little foot thingies. Catherine. So we're gonna go over how to make it. It has a cushion and everything. We're gonna start off with making this little button here. Or no, we're gonna make the big part first. I'm using a CD disc because an old one because I can.
Also.
Yeah. And then there's foam, and you buy this foam in a big square at Hobby Lobby. It costs like, I don't know, $3, $4, something like that. Anyway, you take your CD, you draw around there, you can cut it out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't matter which side it's on. Put that on. Stop, Katerina. So you put that on there. Then you pick your fabric. Now I went with a star theme on this. A star theme on this because I was thinking about making a dollhouse with a museum, and that's stars and stuff. But now I'm going to go with a green fabric, and you're going to cut it into a large circle around this thing, and you want to make sure that the fabric will come up over the all the way on the end, or around the back and to the front, all the way around like that. Make sure that it'll fit all the way. And then you take a needle and thread, and I use black thread so you could see it really good. Usually you could just, well, the color really won't matter because it'll be hidden, but you find the strongest quilting thread that you can find because you're going to be tying it very tight. And you go back and forth all the way around, and you leave the knots out, and you do really big stitches so it really crumples well. Anyway, there's my two ends, and I've already done that because I don't think you guys need to watch me. That would be really dull. Thank you, Catherine. Stop, please. So I'm taking that, I'm holding it in place, and I've made this too big, and when that happens, and it will from time to time, then you would take, you could twist it or something if you want, but you would take a needle and you would sew as close as you can, but all the way around. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. So I've re-gone around it, and now I have my two sides, and I left my needle on one to make it easier, and I'm just going to knot it, double knot it.
This is mine. This is mine.
Just like that, and that'll be in the center. Now you could have, instead of this roughly part being the seat up here, you could always have the flat. Jeez. You could always have the flat part and put the cushion on this side, and it just be completely flat. That's up to you, whatever you want. So I usually knot it 3 times. Then I'm gonna go down through the center of this mess. Remember, it's a CD, so there's already a hole in there. There we go. My fingers can't pull that up, so I'm using my pliers. Oopsie. Alright, you can see the difference between up this, and then when you pull it down, it makes it nice and tight, and that's what you want. So get it in and out a couple times. I'm shoving down on the table because it's really hard. Pulling with the pliers. The top is going to be covered up, so it doesn't matter, but the bottom is not necessarily, doesn't really need to be covered up unless you do a bad job, like my first one. And I'm going to take it and go really close to that first one, just so you can't see it very well. And then I'm going to tie it off on the top. Cut off your excess strings, and then set this aside for a minute. You don't have to really fiddle with it yet. just set it aside. Then I took a piece of cardboard and cut it into a circle, and I actually used the bottom of my thread to cut it, to draw around, and that's how I cut out my circle. And I used some packing material that's just this foamy stuff. It's real thin foam, and I made a circle for the top and bottom, so that way it's like a little sandwich here. And you take another piece of round cloth that will stretch all the way around. You go in and out with your thread all the way around the edges, and flip it over. Here's my two ends of thread. I'm going to hold it with my fingers. And then you have it perfectly on top. Tie this off.
Where's the book?
Tie it off. Cut your strings. Cut them so they don't stick out. Now you have this one here, and you can kind of see what it's going to look like there. That will be the center. So I have my little top here, and I have some ribbon that you buy in like the sewing department, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to go around the very edge, just like that. Now I have the edging on there. It's pretty darn hot right now. I'm going to take this part, and you can ruffle this however you want it to look. You know, move it with your fingers and stuff. I'm going to take the bottom half, and right here, Catherine, shh, and put some hot glue on there, quite a bit. Put this little booger on. And try and make sure it's centered. Pretty close. And hold it down for a couple minutes while the hot glue cools down so it stays solid. Now we have our little chair done, and I put the red and gold trim around the bottom and around here so it matches. It's kind of like, you know, double layer. And I'm going to flip it over, and using little wooden pegs, these are going to be the feet, and I'm going to line them up into a nice square far out to the edge, and then I'll put one in the middle that will actually fill the hole, and all that does is make it look nice from that part where we pulled it in. And I use hot glue to glue all these on. Now all the little legs have been put on, and you can color. You can get a wood pencil, or it's like a marker that has wood stain in it, and you can stain these. These are just from Hobby Lobby, all this stuff is. And now you have a little ledge on there, so it looks, you know, more realistic, I guess. Anyway, here's the first and the second ones, and you have to imagine these like in the lobby of a hotel where there's a bunch of people who can sit in any direction. Possibly at a Star Trek convention, since this is old Spock.